Okay, now here on the homestead, we've talked about permaculture, food forest, any number of things, but we're going to talk to you today about micro wrangling. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Renewed Homestead. Ben and Denise here, and we've started another new adventure within the property to help feed our chickens. So, what have we got ourselves into this time?
We are actually raising mealworms. We've been looking for ways to reduce our feed costs, to also give our chickens better feed. So we went ahead and got some mealworms from Uncle Jim's, and we actually first heard of Uncle Jim's from Danny down at Deep South. He actually started a worm farm, and I'll link that video in the comment section, so thank you, Danny. So we got some mealworms. We'll show you just a basic setup that we're doing. There are plenty of videos on YouTube that are in depth on how to set up a mealworm farm, so we won't do that, but we'll give you some of the basics that we're doing. And mealworms are really great for chickens. Number one, they're feed, but they're a really great protein source. So you can make your own chicken feed with mealworms. Now remember, you don't want to feed them too much protein, but really, really great protein source. It will also help during molting season. And when you have high quality protein, you get more egg production and better tasting eggs. So that's why we're actually doing our own mealworm farm, and we're just one step closer to self-sufficiency. It's just another step towards self-sufficiency.
Yeah, that chicken feed does get expensive, especially when you're raising young ones and trying to move them onto their new homes, and it's not panning out. We're getting photobombed by a Loki dog. Anyway, all right, so let's show you what we've set up, and we'll go from there. So this is what we ordered for our mealworm farm. Just a very simple, this one's made by Sterilite. It's just a 3-drawer storage container for crafts or whatever. It's on wheels. Nothing special, but that is what seems to be working for other folks.
The first step is to cut a hole in the top drawer. Then you will replace that piece of plastic that you just cut out with hardware cloth. What will happen is your mealworms will become beetles, and then those beetles will lay eggs, which will become the mealworms, but those eggs will drop through that hardware cloth and go to the second drawer.
The cutting tool caused the plastic to bead up as it melted through, so I'm just cleaning that up so the screen sits flush and gets a better seal with the hot glue. So just using a razor blade and cleaning it off. Okay, first we're going to put in our substrate, which in this case is just some good old-fashioned oats, which just came out of the freezer, and they've been in there for 24 hours to make sure that there's no other little bugs or things growing in there, because we don't want them to interfere with the growth of our mealworms. So we're going to put that in, and a trick that we learned, make sure you pull out the second drawer, because some of it is definitely going to fall through that screen and saves cleaning up a mess. So get this in here.
Don't need a lot.
Don't need a lot. Make sure it's covered though. All right. And then we are going to put in some potatoes because that's where they get their moisture. There's no reason to put a little dish of water. They don't do that. They get their moisture from their food. So there's just some potato that we cut up. We're gonna get it down in there so they can get to it. Okay, so before we add the mealworms into the top, we are going to put some more oats in the bottom. Some people use barley because it's easier to see the pupas after the eggs have fallen through and they start to grow. We don't have any, so the oats will do just fine. And get those in there first, and then we'll be ready to add the mealworms. Don't need much at this point,
because it's going to fall through from the top.
That should be plenty. All right. Make sure that's anchored. All right, the moment of truth. Live mealworms. I can with the silhouette, with the light in front of it, I can see see them crawling around. This should be fun. Nasty creatures. They must like Star Trek. There's a bunch of Klingons.
I am Klingon.
Ooh, they stink.
That is why we're doing this in the shop.
Now they do need to be kept warm, so that's why we're in the shop, to protect them. And we have the miners in here, so that keeps it pretty warm. But yes, if there was smell-o-vision, ooh, it stinks.
There it is. Nope, still a few more, but we'll work on that. All right, let's get them out of their newspaper here. My son was in junior high. He had a bearded dragon, so we used to have to buy these and crickets at the pet store. Good times, good times.
All right, so we've got a 3-drawer system. And the reason we have the 3rd drawer is the pupae that developed that we want to make more mealworms will go in there. And then after they come out of that stage, then we will put them back in the top drawer. And we do have 2 containers. Right now, one is being used as a nightstand temporarily. And they use the oats as food.
Is
that what you're having for dinner tonight, darling?
I tell you, if I were a chicken, I'd be all over this. But I also subscribe to the World Economic Forum that thinks we should all be eating this stuff instead of beef. All right. And that is micro-wrangling. Now, let me show them what you're feeding them. Dried mealworms. That's the expensive way to do it.
Very expensive way to do it. Another benefit to mealworms is your chickens will love you for it.
Yes, they do. So, anyway, that's our micro-wrangling that we've set up, and so we'll see how that goes. It's going to be about 3 months before we're going to be able to start harvesting those. That's their life cycle and running through it, and hopefully we will be like she said, one step closer to being self-sufficient and not having to run to the store to buy food for the chickens and so forth.
Yes.
Along with all the corn we've got growing.
Yes.
And all the other good things we've got going on. So, all right. Anything else?
Nope, I think we're good.
Okay. Get those pets spayed and neutered. All right. Thanks, everybody. We really do appreciate you. Give us a thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. And we will see you on the next video. God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.